What to make of David Cameron's expression of regret? Well, let's explore that both in Delhi and in London. Varghese George is the bureau chief of the Hindustan Times in Delhi, and Jasvir Singh is a barrister and director of City Sikhs network. And thank you both very much for being with us here on Global. Varghese, first of all, to you. I mean, I was in Mumbai with David Cameron on Monday. It was an absolute secret that he was going to go to Amritsar. Should he be given credit for at least having gone there? I'm getting the suspicion you're not hearing me. Let me turn now to Jasvir in the studio, and we'll try and sort out the sound to Delhi. What do you make of that? I mean, that general point, because presumably, you know, when you're planning a trip like that, the easiest thing to do is to say, Amritsar, too complicated.
Yes, and I can appreciate that. However, having said that, he made the effort to go to Jallianwala Bagh. He made the effort to go to the Golden Temple and pay his respects. And as a result of doing so, the issue then becomes, has he done the right thing by saying that he regrets the incident rather than apologising for it?
And what do you make? What do you think?
I think that an apology should have been made. It was the right environment for it to be made, and it could well have been made within the circumstances. OK, let's try and go back to Delhi, because I think, Varghese, we have re-established communications with you. Varghese, what has been the reaction in India to David Cameron's visit to Amritsar?
Yeah, the visit has been welcomed as a positive step in bilateral relations, and his visit to Amritsar particularly has been welcomed, I think, by and large, because there can be a debate about the semantics, about the words that he used in expressing regrets or apology. He did not use the word apology, but I don't think that has been dominating Indian media or public discussion to by any substantial account. So the fact that he did go there, the fact that he did say and he did write what he did, I think would be considered by the Indian public at large as a good gesture and as a positive gesture.
And if you were to judge his trip over all these past 3 days, would you say, from an Indian perspective, David Cameron has gone down well? And from David Cameron's point of view, do you think he succeeded in what he was seeking to do?
Yes, more or less, because see, we have to appreciate the fact that despite the failure of Indian Prime Minister to reciprocate Prime Minister Cameron's visit in 2010, Prime Minister Cameron did undertake a second visit to India. He's been taken very positively by the Indian side. At the same time, this visit happened at a time when there are certain sensitive issues that involving both these countries. One, as you would know, is a deal regarding a helicopter company based out of Italy and UK. And second is UK's involvement in the Afghan peace process. India has reservations about these aspects. At the same time, because of these circumstances, I think this visit, was at an opportune time. India did have an opportunity to raise its concern, and I think both sides, from whatever it is emerging, did have quite positive talks on all these issues.
Jasvir, let me come to you, because, you know, yes, of course, the sort of main plot of this visit was about building up trade relations between India and the UK. I would also, I mean, I just wonder, as an Indian living in London, kind of born in Britain,
yes,
yeah, what you think of the Prime Minister saying India is the special relationship, which is a term previously reserved for the United States of America.
Yes, and it came as a surprise to me, as well as many other British Asians, let's say. The idea that there is a special relationship is one that I can appreciate. Britain and India have a long history, going back about 200 years, if not longer. And over that time, there have been relationships built which continue to this day, hence the reason why there are so many South Asians now living in the UK. So I think Britain is very well placed to make use of its relationship with India over the coming few decades, but it needs to do so from a stage of here and now.
And I just wonder whether you think there is a sort of, maybe a narrow political aspect of this, from a British point of view, that David Cameron's ruling Conservative Party doesn't do very well with the ethnic minority vote, the non-white vote in the UK. There he is. Look at that picture behind us now of David Cameron in Amritsar. There's a huge Sikh vote in this country. I mean, do you think it was a sort of partly an attempt to woo some of those people?
I'm sure it was. Having said that, the fact that he has paid his respects at the Golden Temple and at the Jallianwala Bagh is something that will be taken to heart by Sikhs as well as Indians and British Asians alike. So I don't necessarily see it as being a completely political move, but I can understand that, yes, I'm sure that was at the back of his mind and that of the Conservative Party.
Yeah, and Vargas, let me come back to you. I mean, I just wonder, you know, a few days before Cameron arrived, you had François Hollande there from France trying to set out his wares. Goodness knows who's arriving next in India. It seems that there are an awful lot of European countries who want to come to India and say, we want to be your best friends.
Yes, it is indeed true, and I think from the Indian perspective also, India also wants to be best friends with all European countries, because there has been a perception in Indian public discourse that India had been moving a little too close to the United States over the recent years. So there is a conscious effort by the government of India and policymakers in India to be playing its role in a multilateral world with all its propriety and decency. So therefore, I think these visits of European heads of state or government are really being welcomed in India, and I think it actually gels well with the overall foreign policy objectives of India.
OK, Vargas George in Delhi. Jasvir Singh here with us in the studio. Both of you, thank you very much indeed. Fascinating discussion. Really glad you could spare us the time.